because SME market is it's really a spaghetti style market, and a lot of deals did not happen because they couldn't come to a solution of deferred payment terms. So we created a new type of invoice. So we call
Okay.
it invoice with a built-in payment or invoice with a guaranteed payment on shipment. It's a new form of invoice. Probably it would be the new best practice on the market because we are a mixture of trade tech, fintech, and legal tech on the platform.
Okay.
So what the only message we deliver to our clients, instead of explaining about invoice financing, invoice discounting, and factoring or other stuff, we deliver very clear message: invoice through FOB Money and get paid on shipment guaranteed. And we got the pipeline of about 250 leads to digest.
Oh, wow.
And that is what, with a quite a low cost of acquisition low price. So
Mm.
it was like about $25 per lead. The 400 billion is the segment we are targeting. And our goal is 0.5%. So we'd like to finance about 2 billion per year, and this is our ambition till 2030.
Today I'm joined by Alex Tikhonov. Alex, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Alex has been in the global marketing strategy product game for many, many years in a global setting. And until the middle of 2023, he was the CMO of one of the biggest global invoice financing companies in Europe, with a valuation of nearly $1 billion and 10 billion of invoices financed. Alex is based in Spain. Um, so, Alex, lovely talking to you today. Tell us, how did you get to the point where we're now talking about FOB money?
Thank you for inviting. Yeah, that's true. I'm based in Spain. But before I started my business, I spent 3 years in one of the biggest invoice financing companies in London. That's true. And
Yeah.
I was doing big job of selling invoice financing to companies. And
Okay.
definitely, it is no brainer to sell invoice financing to big guys, big companies, and mid-sized companies. But if we talk about SMEs, that's really a challenge. It's a
Okay.
huge market, but the
Yeah.
problem is that this market is uneducated.
Okay.
So,
So I think tell us first of all, what is invoice financing? What is that?
okay, this is the solution for deferred payments. For
Okay.
example, if the exporter is shipping goods from, I don't know, Vietnam to the UK, they have to wait for the payment to come. Okay, depending on the contract and whose market, the seller market or buyer market. But usually the deferred payment terms are between 60 days and 120 days because the buyer usually dictates the rules, and he needs some time to deliver goods to, sub clients or something like that. So the seller is forced to wait 2 3 months for the payment. So the
Okay.
frozen capital is a huge problem for a small exporter because he
Makes
cannot run his operations, he cannot go into the next
right.
production cycle, cannot pay taxes, salaries. So actually, everything is frozen. So
Right.
the beauty of the system is that the seller is ready to pay quite big fees for that financing because it keeps his business running.
Yes.
So more than any bank fees, or up to 1.5 2% per month is a reasonable fee they're ready to pay very often.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I suppose that that's the lifeblood of their business, and if there's no cash flow, then it doesn't matter what they do because they cannot operate.
It's all
So
about growth. It's all about growth. If the company
okay,
would like to run steadily, I mean flat, they don't need invoice financing. So if they
okay,
would like to grow fast, they would
yeah,
like to speed up their turnover, they would like to they need operational money. So
right,
that's where we are very helpful. It's one of the, actually, as we usually say, we are faster than a bank and we're better than credit.
okay, cool. So I mean, you were with this big company. So what made you make the jump to go and do a startup? I mean, it's there's a there's a lot of
Yeah,
risk, as we know, in doing a startup.
Yeah, conquering the market of SMEs, that is about 40% of the whole export import operations in the world. It's a real challenge because the market is, as I said, uneducated. They don't know what invoice financing is.
Okay.
Usually, when you come to the furniture factory somewhere, in Indonesia, you say, "Okay, we're doing invoice financing." They say, "What?" They say, "We can
Yeah.
buy your invoices and claim from the buyer." They say, can you Can you just give me the money?"
Yeah.
And we found out that we had two choices: to educate the market or to modify the product.
Hmm.
So at this point, we came to a kind of a disagreement with the key stakeholders in my company. So because I felt that we need to do significant changes in approach, and
Okay.
they're financial guys. They're great guys, but they're very financial oriented. They're from financial world, and I'm from marketing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and in
Right.
this move, there is more marketing than financing actually
Mm.
at this
Yeah.
stage to sell the product.
Gotcha.
So I decided to quit and open my own company because the idea is quite powerful, and we feel we can conquer the SME market. Because SME market is really a spaghetti style market because they do their financing different ways. Sometimes they're very ridiculous and sometimes they look strange, and a lot of deals did not happen because they couldn't come to a solution of deferred payment terms. So they couldn't agree on deferred payment terms.
Okay.
In this case, we are working not only as a financing facility, but also as a deal enabler for them, structuring the market. This market will be structurized anyway in 10 years because, the world is digitalized. So, and
Yeah.
what happened in banking like 10, 15 years ago, like Revolut or other things, I mean, B2C, is now happening in B2B. It
Right.
has already happened with a big scale B2B, but medium size and low size, they're still in development. So there
Yeah.
will be changes. There will be tool that helps small companies export import to finance their turnover, and we would like to be a part of this move.
It makes sense what you're saying in terms of, big companies are not geared to really, think like those SMEs and really adapt to what those SMEs need. They got their way that they're doing things, and I can sense potentially that, the frustration was there from your perspective, and that's where you saw the gap. So, working with these SMEs, what kind of problems are you finding? When you talk to them.
The financial gap, of course, the frozen money, but also they would like to have better trading terms with their counterparties. And here we have two flows: from seller side, who would like to get paid on shipment, and the buyer side, also who would like to get as many days as possible in deferred payment terms.
Yeah.
Currently, which is today, we got an invoice to finance. This is deal from Vietnam to China. They have 6 months of deferred payment
Oh,
terms.
wow.
Yeah, that is usually we're working up to 120 days, but this is the deal we're looking together with my co-founders to understand if we can go into it or not. But this is a
Yeah.
real solution because, especially if you're talking about, for example, frozen food market or coffee market or any seasonal market, the amount of day they would like to have is just to cover their seasonality gaps.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
also helpful. And the
Okay.
product that we developed is very easy to understand. So we created a new type of invoice. So we
Okay.
call it invoice with a built-in payment or invoice with a guaranteed payment on shipment. It's a new form of invoice. Probably it would be the new best practice on the market because we are a mixture of trade tech, fintech, and legal tech on the platform.
Okay.
So what
Okay.
the only message we deliver to our clients, instead of explaining about invoice financing, invoice discounting, and factoring or other stuff, we deliver very clear message: invoice through FOB money and get paid on shipment guaranteed.
Yeah, that's a simple message, man. That anybody can understand that, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And the only thing the person needs to do to apply to create an invoice on our platform and sees if it can be covered or not by us.
Okay. Okay.
So that is that's straightforward. Then if it can be covered, so he has a commitment for funding that nobody does on the market, only we do. Then he has 60 days to produce goods. He makes the shipment, uploads shipping documents, and then gets paid as soon as we verify the docs.
when an SME wants to, make use of your services, what are your kind of criteria for
Mhm.
vetting them or checking them to make sure they are credible supplier, because your reputation is obviously important here as well.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, the structure is interesting because we do sales in Asia, and that's why we have a Hong Kong operational office.
Okay.
We do collections in jurisdictions we can control. That's why we have the London head office, right?
Yeah.
So we do the sale there, but we keep the risks in civilized jurisdictions, if you can say so.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, we do due diligence for the seller to understand that this is a company like decent, not a fraud, and such a thing that they exist for 1 year at least. They do
Okay.
some operations, and usually they are companies with not a big turnover, up to maybe 10, 20 million per year, less than 30 employees, and they don't
Okay.
have a dedicated financial officer to solve their turnover problems.
I see.
But we make a decent due diligence of the buyer. We have access to several databases, scoring systems, tracking systems. For example, we can see the container, if the container exists, when did the container leave the port of origin, and where is the ship at the moment, and so on. So we can also control were there any trade relations between the buyer and the seller before, and sometimes even we can see through the system the value of the container.
Okay.
So the big data is there.
Okay, Alex. So, in terms of your future vision for the business, what is your ambition? Where do you see this company going in the next couple of years?
We have two levels of ambition.
Okay.
The basic one is we would like to create the best invoice system ever, base invoice payment system ever. So we would like to erase the problem of deferred payments and negotiations there from the import export operations.
Right.
The bigger one is that we would like to be deal enablers for international trade, because without us the deal wouldn't happen. Without the deal happens, as I said before, the deferred payment terms very often are the blocker for the deals that are happening. So, and we
Right.
can't count how many deals failed because of that. So with
Yeah.
us this is not a problem anymore.
Okay.
The problem comes just to pricing, right? And finally the price is covered by the end customer.
Okay. So, what is your strategy then in terms of onboarding both buyers and sellers to reach that ambition of yours?
So, if we look at our track record, we are going quite fast. So, I quit the company, the London company, in August 23. October 23 went to, we had a booth on FinTech Week in Hong Kong to
Mm.
test the idea. So, we got a significant attention from the industry. We talked to big guys like JP Morgan, Citi Payments, and so on, and they were asking, okay, how many years are you in operation? The idea is great. We would like to understand where we can have cooperation. And I said, no, 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 we're just at the stage of incorporation. Hold on a
Mm.
second. I said, okay, then you need to go, a couple of years, then come back to us. So,
Right.
but it was in October. So I understood that the thing is working. We got first letters of interest that time. Then we decided, okay, we go. December, we did the incorporation in Hong Kong and London. January, we're admitted by one of the Singaporean incubators. This is a branch of a big Swiss incubator. In March, April, we had our MVP.
Okay.
Uh, in May, we got angel funds for testing the concept on the market. June and August, we had two advertising campaigns on different markets. So we were targeting Vietnam and India, and we got the pipeline of about 250 leads to digest.
Oh, wow.
And that is what, with quite a low cost of acquisition, low price. So
Mm.
it was like about $25 per lead. So we were stuck there because we don't have enough people. The automation is not there because MVP doesn't include any automation at the moment.
Right.
And we understood that this is the bottleneck. So we need to expand. That's why
Yeah.
we are raising funds now at the moment. We need to invest in the company, and we need some operational funds to do the funding.
Okay. Okay. So I mean that's on the supplier side, and on the buyer side. is that kind of through the suppliers that you then get to those buyers?
Oh, that's interesting because usually every supplier is a buyer at the same time. Very often, they buy raw materials, they export
Ah,
ready-made goods. But also there is a steady flow of buyers looking for funding because if it is the seller's market, so like for electronics, nobody will ship you any goods from electronic world, in China or in Hong Kong, if they don't get the payment upfront.
okay.
Especially if the buyer is a medium-sized or small importer. I mean, small
Yeah.
in general means like 100 million per year.
Mhm.
It's So we have a steady flow of leads from buyers. They would like to finance their deferred payment. The seller is not ready for deferred payment, but the
Yeah.
buyer needs it. So they come to us and they say, okay, guys, we would like to have like 60, 90, 120 days with our supplier. So can you organize it for us? And we do because we develop the legal flow, we develop the financial flow that will help them to do that. So
Okay.
still keeping it in terms of invoice financing legally.
Yeah.
So that is very important because we are not a financial company. So we don't need licensing in the majority of jurisdictions. We're an
Okay.
invoice financing company, and technically, invoice financing is buying the debt and recovering the debt, collecting the debt from the debtor.
Yeah. 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 So your legal kind of regulatory obligations are not as stringent. You're not viewed as like a bank or,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And this is the beauty that we are not in handcuffs. So
Yeah.
there are some jurisdictions where it is restricted, but we just don't operate there.
Right. Okay. So the funding that you're raising currently is to build out the product to, to be more mature, your platform. And but you're also raising funding to fund your invoices, right? To help you fund the invoices that you're funding
Yeah,
as part of
exactly.
the operations.
We have two business models running simultaneously. The invoices from 50K to 200 we digest ourselves, and we need funding for that.
Okay.
Invoices bigger than 300 and up to 2 million we pass to bigger guys because we act as a marketplace. So we have connected some financiers that are ready to finance the invoice with their own risk assessment, their own operations, and so on. So we work here as an opportunity for them to get cheaper lead and to service a cheaper lead. And the beauty of the market is if the client goes into financing, the retention rate is very high. They stay they stay for 3, 4, 5 financial cycles.
Alex, okay, so this all sounds very interesting, but what is the size of the market?
So if we're talking about SMEs in the world, the underfinanced gap is huge, is 5.5 trillion. If we
Hmm.
look, if we downsize it to underfinanced market of SME exporters in Asia, that is 800 billion, and half
Yeah.
of them operate with deferred payment terms on their side or on buyer side, doesn't matter.
Hmm.
So the 400 billion is the segment we are targeting in general, and our goal is 0.5%.
Right.
So we'd like to finance about 2 billion per year, and this is our ambition till 2030. The market of invoice financing is growing 10% every year, from 8 to
10% per
11.
year.
Yeah, it's a huge because it's boosting.
That's
It's a
insane
very
growth.
It's a very efficient financial instrument, exactly. It's better than
Yeah.
credit. It is faster, and you have to pay for it only if the deal happens.
Right.
Credit, credit
It's a
you.
it's a simple thing to understand. I mean, that's I'm not a finance guy or a invoice
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
It's a simple thing to understand, and it makes total sense to me.
There is much more margin there than in just in a
Yeah.
single credit line. The internationality, this part, okay, it brings some hurdles, but as soon as we have in our team, one of co-founders is a very serious lawyer from London. So we have four actually, and he's one of us. Helps us in hurdles of international law because he has
Yeah.
been doing there. So we're covered from that side. So, but it's very interesting because you go into Vietnamese market, they have their peculiarities. You go to Indian market, they have their peculiarities. You go into
Yeah.
furniture, there is their patterns of financing. You go into frozen food, they have the other pattern. So that's very interesting to digest. But we make the solution that fits all.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, it's I'm just astounded by the size of the market. I mean, the numbers that you got there, where do those come from? Is that from your own research, or where did you the
It is
5.4 trillion?
combined. So we did our own research, country by
Yeah.
country, to understand the key target countries with all the figures, especially about SMEs, but also the figures about under finance gap of SMEs and expertise in the pack. They are in open source, so we have all the links to big
Okay.
international research agencies that.
Yeah. No, that's insane. That's an incredibly lucrative market that you're busy with there.
Yeah, that's why we're not so frightened about competitors. We do have some advantages that nobody
Yeah.
does at the moment in the market, but the market is so huge, so there is a place for everybody. And the
100.
more players around the market, the more civilized it will be. The sooner it will be civilized.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so let's say you get the investment, and how long do you foresee it taking until your platform is then at that level where you can really scale?
I think we have a quite a very well developed business model. So, end of 2027, beginning of 2028, we come to a break-even point in
Okay.
general. So
Okay.
and we are growing quite fast. So because we have the demand is huge, the demand is huge. So we need financing to build the whole structure, the whole machine to digest it fast. Because we would like to respond fast for the request of financing. We would like to release the money fast. We would like to work with our counterparties, financing and insurance parties fast. So
Yeah.
that's all need to be structurized.
Yeah. But okay, my question is, how long will it take to get that app or the platform, to that point? 3 months, 6 months? How long do you?
The platform is running already. So
Okay.
you can submit an invoice. The invoice will be visible in our dashboard. The invoice will be visible after it passes the first check by the platform. Our financing partners will see the invoice in their dashboards as well, so they can make their conclusion if they would like to finance it or not, and send the offer to the seller. So the full scale development, actually, the big leap is 2025, where we
Yeah.
need to do the lot of automation. But
Okay.
if you look at the next 3 years, it is a constant improvement because it will be digital signature, it will be transfer of the money, it will automation here, automation there, invoice
Okay.
recognition, and also big data. Yeah.
Okay. And are you guys doing anything with AI? Because AI is the talk of the month at the moment, or talk of the year. Are you guys doing anything with AI?
Uh, it can play a big part in automation. It
Yeah.
can help the customer to get onboarded. It can
Right.
help in a part of a risk assessment because currently there is enormous amount of startups regarding risk assessment by AI. The
Yeah.
problem of that, so we are quite, I wouldn't say that we are pessimistic, but we are very accurate here because to train the AI model, you need like a solid amount of data. And so it means that you need to source a lot of cases of defaults,
Yes.
and you don't have a lot of cases and defaults. So
Right.
you can build any model based on that.
Sure.
So this is one of the problem of AI. So what they do, AI is usually doing like the checkbox check.
Yeah.
So that's what we have seen, and all the tests we did with service providers of AI risk models, I would say they were. I cannot say they were not reliable, but probably uh, it showed that the 100% you cannot rely on that model. So
Yeah.
you,
So it's not that useful yet in terms of the value that you get out of it, right?
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I've seen that as well with some of the AI personal assistants that come out. It's on the surface it looks wonderful, but as soon as you ask it just a very basic question in that domain, it falls over.
Yeah,
So I think we still have a lot of scope in that field to really get those AI assistants working like a human being. It's not far off, but I think what you're saying there is a good point in that people underestimate what's required in terms of the training and the effort that goes in, and the intelligence that you need to feed into it so that it really can give you a a good answer when you ask the question.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's
Okay.
that's why we are very accurate with the AI, implementing AI into the system.
Yeah.
Automation with AI, yes. So that can be very basic,
Sure.
so that
Sure.
can help us.
Okay.
That's true. But there is one more buzzword is blockchain,
Yeah.
and here we can see the opportunity because more and more transactions, import export transactions, are in crypto. So
Right.
that is the side thing we are looking at very carefully, is helping to finance crypto deal that are financed in crypto. Because if you have, for example, the Chinese exporter who would like to be paid in crypto, right?
Yeah.
And the American importer who can pay only in USD, so we can do this bridge
Oh wow.
because we have a partner. We already are in negotiations with quite a big a crypto platform. They have a turnover of 1.5 billion a month, I think.
Okay.
So they are ready to provide this facility. So this
Okay.
is also a very interesting thing to do because the fees there are quite interesting for the
Mm,
business.
right.
The margin is good.
Alex, okay, so in terms of the typical client, what does that look like on your end?
Oh, usually this is the exporter from Asia Pacific area, shipping goods to Europe, United States, or UK. It is a small company up to maybe 20 million in turnover, sometimes up to 50 million in turnover per annum. Less than 50 employees. Usually, they don't have their own financial officer. They're about 1 or 2 years in operation, so they're not a fresh company that has just opened. And shipping to well controlled jurisdictions.
Okay.
And
Okay.
deferred payment terms are from 45 to 120 days, sometimes to 160 or 180.
Okay. I find it interesting that you say there are, companies that are doing 20 or 30 million in turnover and they don't have a financial officer on board.
That's right, because usually these companies are family businesses.
Ah, okay. So,
And who is controlling finances? Okay, my nephew is controlling.
okay. Okay. So it's
So
not professional,
yeah, that's
financially trained
professional.
people. Got you. Okay.
Okay. But
Okay.
usually the clients that are we have in our pipeline, their sales about between maybe 4 and 10 million per annum.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that's perfect. For the kind of invoices that you're financing, I can. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
perfect size.
Yeah, and
Um,
this is a very sweet market because the competition in financing of big companies and upper mid-sized companies is very
yeah,
tough. They're fighting for every point. But if you look here, it's it's a vast opportunity. It's such a big thing. So and everybody is coming there in these years because they understand the market is there, the big margin is there. Okay, the risk is higher, the operations are more demanding, but okay, we have automation on our side, we have digitalization on our side, we have AI as well, as you said.
yeah,
So this
yeah.
market is a very very sweet spot at the moment.
Alex, okay, so that's fantastic. So, in terms of your raise, what are the numbers? What are you looking at raising?
So we need 1.6 to invest into the company, to develop the platform, marketing, sales, to build risk teams and proper operations. And we need
Okay.
7 million as a working capital to finance the invoices.
What's in it for what kind of return do you see for investors?
So we are raising 1.6 for 20% of equity, and we expect it sevenfold in 5 6 years.
Sevenfold in 5 to 6 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
suppose when they look at your deck and your financial model, then they can get more
yeah.
details there should they want that. Alex, okay, that's very interesting. In terms of the model that you're bringing to the market, what do you see the impact of that being on the marketplace as it is?
Um, as I said, the digitalization is almost there, and the market is changing. And we would like to be a significant game changer because we're developing a smart funding technology. And simplification is a lot to digest the SME market because they're uneducated. They would like to act fast. So we are simplifying legal, financial flows and operational flow through our platform. And very, very probable it would become the new best practice on the market. So sooner or later it will be everywhere because the simpler it is, the faster it goes.
Right. Okay. So if you're saying simplifying the flows, I mean, so what you're saying is the platform that you've built is got some unique kind of features in it, or is it you've just taken kind of standard practice and automated it? What do you mean by your smart funding technology? What is the secret sauce, so to speak, that you're
So
bringing to the market?
yeah, the new type of invoice is a big simplification because we created this invoice with a built-in payment when the payment is released as soon as shipping documents are uploaded, right? So, and this is a trade tech, fintech, and legal tech platform. We also have a container of contracts to sign digitally by all parties. Yeah, in the
Okay.
process.
Okay.
We also have the commitment for funding, so the client can go into preparation or production of the shipment. So before the shipment happens, he has 60 days to
Mm,
prepare the goods or to go into the next sales cycle.
okay.
And so that looks quite simple because for the client, we're still in his well-known area of invoicing. He always issues his invoices to the client, but if he issues them through us, he gets paid on shipment guaranteed. So that's a big simplification comparing to
Got
traditional
you.
invoice financing and factoring.
I can, yeah, I can get that. I mean, from the outside, it looks like it's not such a complicated thing, but I can imagine once you're inside there, it can be hugely complex if you have small suppliers without the financial management sophistication that you have in a bigger company, and then dealing with a buyer on the other side of the world that's got the big money and the team. There's potential for a big disconnect there, and you filling that gap essentially between those two worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with me today. For the investors that have watched this video to this point, thank you for your time, and I really want to encourage you to take a look at FOB Money. If you fill out the form below this video, it will take you straight to the investment opportunity page, and on there you'll have access to the full pitch deck and a host of questions that Alex has answered, as well as Alex's contact details. You'll find there, and then you can engage with him directly and ask more questions, and hopefully help Alex to grow FOB Money into a big market player in the next couple of years. Alex, thank you very much, and good luck. I hope you raise your investment quick.
Thank you. Thank you for your help.